Brought to you by Pfizer.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Clark, a long three. It's short once more. The long rebound to Walker, and she's going to go up with it. K-State takes down Iowa, and take notice of these Cats.
Me as a point guard, I kind of have to take responsibility for that. I have to get us into our offense a little better, deliver a little better shot selection, and there's going to be nights where I don't shoot the ball very well, and we have to understand we're not going to shoot the ball great every game. I'm not going to shoot the ball great every game, but we have to find other ways to win. I want to give credit to Kansas State that their defense was excellent. They're long, they got a good rim protector. Neither team shot the ball well. It was really extraordinary low for us.
I'm excited for our guys to get this opportunity. As hard as they've worked, they deserve it. Obviously nobody's going to give them anything, but they gave themselves a chance to earn this and to be successful. So it's another game. It's a high school football game. We've got to do what we do. We've got to execute better on defense.
This is a big week just because it's the next week. They're in the way of our goals and our aspirations as a team. We always talk about just control what we can control. We got a big game this week and a big game after that because we have so many Kansas kids on the team.
In the beginning of the game, there's going to be a lot of emotions just because it's senior day or last time in the booth, but I got to treat it like any other game and just play, have fun. At the end of the day, you can't add too much to it because...
Eliminate the run game. If we're able to limit how many yards he get per carry, then I think we're doing something good. Force hands in his face and take him down on the passing game. Get around him, overcrowded. Got such a good offensive line that's done really, really well. So
Jackson takes the snap. Pocket collapsing. He escapes, runs to the left, fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Rashad Bateman, his first of the year, and the Ravens extend their lead.
Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Who's that receiver?
Rashad Bateman.
Oh, I thought it said bacon. I thought he's making bacon, man. He got a touchdown. Baltimore, roll it on. Welcome to Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the show. Welcome in. It's a Friday Sports Day program as we get you ready for the weekend. On the show today, Barton Cougars open conference play tomorrow against the Indy Pirates. Independence Pirates come to town to the Kirkman. 2 and 4 are the tips. We'll be talking with Jeremy Combs about the Barton Cougar men's team, ranked 9th in the country, so he will be in studio today. Also talk high school sub-states tonight. Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel previewing all of those games, including Hoisington and Norton tonight. Friday, sports headlines and the sounds of the past 24 hours. Steve Webster with Aaron Clark, Mike Corson. And are you settled in, Mike Escher?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So we're ready to go here on the show today. All right, let's get to the sounds of the past 24 hours or so.
Yeah, I've already got a bone to pick with you. She scores 44 points, and we hold her for last. But...
Listen, just wait a second. We do the sounds, and then we comment on the sounds.
First day.
I thought you'd give me a hug that I had 3 cuts devoted.
3 of them.
3 of them. Call last night on FS1. K-State closes out their 65-58 road upset of second-ranked Iowa. Ioka lead 22. She's a horse, man. 22 points, 10 in the fourth quarter. Lead K-State's comeback victory. Caitlin Clark talking about the team needing to win when the shots don't go in. The Associated Press National Player of the Week. In women's basketball, scored 24 points on 9 of 32 shooting. You should be able to score 24 points. You shoot 32 times. 2 for 16 from long distance, including that one that rammed off the backboard and the rim, led to an easy layup to end the game last night. She failed to make her first three-pointer until just over 1 minute left in the second quarter. Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter giving credit to the Cats. Man, they looked pretty good last night. Wildcats take down Iowa for the second straight year. K-State's got something going right now. Leah's back, and she just got any position she wanted down low last night and scored. And she was a huge presence on defense. Congratulations. That was a heck of a win for the K-State women's program last night.
She part of the tour last year at the Fieldhouse, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. I think the stats say that was Clark's worst collegiate game at Iowa. All across the numbers, team scoring, individual scoring, missed shots, taking shots. And I think Phillipsburg's Taryn Side, I think she had a pretty big bucket late. So she's getting some time as a freshman.
Excellent. 9 of 32. How many shots did you take in, well, do we got any basketball guys over there?
Sophomore year.
Okay, I mean, did you take 32 shots in a game?
No, probably didn't take 32 shots on the year. That wasn't really my role in the Panther basketball program.
Yeah, how about that? K-State wins last night, 65-58 at Iowa. Zach Baird, his team's ready. Sub-state tonight in Norton. Big boy football in Class 2A. Winner gets either Nemaha Central or Sabetha, probably Nemaha Central. Next Saturday in Salina. Aaron Clark, the floor is yours.
It's going to be a great night. Looking forward to seeing what Hoisington can do. They've got another week against a defense that I think Norton comes in allowing something like 9 points, second best defense in 2A by certain statistics. And so last week, Hoisington was going against Southeast of Saline. Again, a defense that very highly vaunted, but we saw that Hoisington offense really come alive against a top-tier unit from Southeast of Saline. The run game was able to get going, and really a difference maker for the Cardinals, Tony Moore. The passing that he's able to add to the Hoisington offense, really, I don't think teams are quite ready to account for that. You get so caught up trying to stop the run of Hoisington, trying to stop guys like Taryn Kraft and Mason Alderdice from getting the ball, that you start having your players come up. You have 8, maybe even 9 guys within 4 or 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden Tony Moore throws one up, whether it's to Mason Martin or whoever just catching on the other end. And then the Hoisington defense, while they did get some points run up on them by Southeast of Saline, we saw them making plays as well. Jason Robinson with an interception in that last game. See if they can't get some turnovers and continue putting the offense in favorable spots.
I was just looking, surprising to see that Norton wouldn't think that pass heavy. Eli Jones is a junior, over 2,000 passing yards, about 800 on the ground. So it's weird to see those kind of numbers and then see a team that's only scored
That's the weirdest
more
thing
than
about
20
this
points
team.
5 times.
They beat everybody 20-6.
Yeah. Real quick, when's the last time anybody had a bonfire out here? Last night, Hoisington had a bonfire. Talking to Hesh this morning, learned about the snake dance in Larned. So I said, we probably went away from bonfires for safety issues, but back in my day, you had the car smash along with the bonfire, but there was no glass. I said, Hesh, did your cars have glass in them? And he said, we did the snake dance. And he's not going to contribute.
We also painted the hill. It was, homecoming was an activity in Larned, but, you know.
How did we get from Norton?
I have no idea.
It was to the bonfire.
I had us rolling, man. I had us rolling.
It was nobody's had a bonfire, so it was cool to see this late in the season ramp up the community ahead of the game. That you haven't seen that in a while. So kudos to Hoisington for doing something like that.
I think it comes down to what it did last week. Big plays are going to determine the game, and that speed for Hoiston, I think, will be enough. So we'll talk to Connor Nickel about, see what he thinks about this game. Yeah, it's just weird that Norton has been able to carve out an unbeaten record and not be able to. But then, like you said, 2,000-yard passer, and they will send a lot of players out in the patterns tonight. They'll flood zones, so we'll see how Hoisington handles that. Maybe they'll just come out and they can't. They've scored on 7 straight possessions in that game against Southeast. So if Norton can't stop him, it's really not going to matter.
Again, going to be interested seeing what Hoisington does on the offensive line in that game against Southeast. They had a fella go down, believe it was one of their tackles. Going to have to see if he's back, what the situation is there. But in a run-heavy scheme like Hoisington likes to use, those offensive linemen are pivotal.
Norton and Hoisington tonight, 6:30 pregame on 100.7 Eagle Country. Also, the Victoria Knights, the Cycles tonight will be revving up before the game starts. 6 o'clock start in Victoria. They take on South Central. You can see the entire sub-state schedule on GreatBendPost.com. Sunflower Showdown tomorrow. Cooper Beebe, an in-state guy, says everyone knows what this game means. K-State. KU safety Kenny Logan says the Jacks need to keep their heads. That is true. When you're trying for the upset, sometimes you get all fired up, and then you go out and do stupid things. And like not cover somebody. KU's got to stop the run in this game, something K-State's just been able to just work them in the trenches. KU's defense has been pretty good here the last couple of games, but they need to make K-State at least throw the ball, and that may not be good for KU either. Don't really feel too good about this game for the Jayhawks, especially if you don't have Jason Bean.
And like Kenny Logan was saying, they need to make sure they keep their head. The KU's definitely not going to stand a chance if they're putting themselves in bad positions, putting themselves in tough spots with stupid penalties or, like you said, missing assignments because they've got themselves too worked up. And it was an exciting matchup. It had kind of worked itself up to be a good Sunflower showdown. Now with the questions around even KU's backup quarterback, Jason Bean, who'd been playing excellent football down the stretch for them, he might not be in. Tough to feel too great about it.
And I keep thinking K-State's an up-and-down team, but if you look at their losses, 3 by 14 points, 2 against pretty high-ranked teams. So given the KU quarterback situation. And then, of course, we didn't have sports day yesterday. Learned, the Big 12, maybe switching up the rules a little bit. Maybe K-State was in the driver's seat. Maybe not so much anymore. So all of a sudden this game lost a lot of luster, unfortunately, given how big it is.
So what rules are being changed?
So what they were going to throw out, because K-State didn't play Oklahoma, they were going to throw out Oklahoma State's wins against OU and K-State, but now they came back in and somehow do not. So I guess that puts the Cowboys in the driver's seat.
Well, can they win?
Let's talk about an up and down team.
Yeah.
They managed to beat Oklahoma, then they get the doors blown off them by UCF.
And they play at Houston tomorrow, so that's Oklahoma State. Okay, you got some good news yesterday. I guess the strange saga of Jalen Daniels said he intends to return to the Jayhawks next season, so maybe his back is bad.
That's what it seems like. Seemed like he was kind of insulted by the fact that a lot of the people had kind of been thinking he might try to jump ship from Lawrence, but he's dedicated to coming back, and you got to think, as long as he's there with head coach Lance Leipold, what they've been able to do together so far in their career, got to feel like it could put KU in a conversation for a Big 12 title next year, especially with some of the...
Does Jason Bean bolt after this season? He came back last year.
That's what I wasn't sure what kind of eligibility Bean had, because he felt like he's been at KU for so long. I don't know if he was out of eligibility after this year, what Bean's plan was.
I have no idea. And he said, I'll be glad when all the COVID years get out of the way so you can kind of follow this. So that's going to be 6 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm thinking maybe if I had to set the odds on this, I'd probably set aside. I'd go with Corson's old standby, 17.5.
I'm not even thinking like 22 on this one, which there was an adjustment on the Andale game, if you're wondering. Needed more action, so it got bumped down to 15.5. Straight up 2 touchdowns.
Okay, 15.5, but there's some people who got in early on that. The
Might
city
not
needs
matter.
a lot of traffic's causing ruts out there in that alley because we got too much.
Stop signs are slowing them down.
Yeah, make sure after you place a bet that you don't turn left in front of because that's a one-way street now in front of the police station. So, what are you doing over there? Well, I was putting a bet in the back of the radio station. Okay, other games tomorrow. Oklahoma, BYU. BYU's they kind of stunk this year. I thought Cincinnati. KU plays them next week. They're 1-6 in conference. Baylor's at TCU. Oklahoma State at Houston. So that game's going to be a 3 o'clock kick on ESPN2. UCF at Texas Tech. K-State, of course, at KU. And Texas plays at Iowa State. That's a dangerous game.
It's a long way for Texas to have to go, and Iowa State has
always played Texas. They've always played Texas well at Ames for sure.
Exactly, and I feel like Iowa State usually plays pretty well at Jack Trice Stadium. It's going to be fun to see what they have for the Longhorns this year.
But again, it's not going to be that Iowa cold this time.
That's
the
right.
The searing, cold, wet, damp,
bleak, and
dreary cold of Ames, Iowa. Be reasonable. Okay, Chris Jones, no stopping Jalen Hurts' legs will be pivotal. I thought when you said that this morning, you said breaking Jalen Hurts' legs is going to be pivotal in that game. Monday night. I'm off that night. I don't have to come in Tuesday morning. That's going to be a fun game to watch.
We'll have to call you for sports day on Tuesday.
Okay, that's fine. Give me a 12:15 wake-up call. And
wait, does this mean another week of the Kelsey's mom on TV all week?
Oh, it'll be out of hand, won't it?
How many cuts do we get this
Isn't
week?
your girl an Eagles fan?
I was going to say, and allegedly this is going to be the week where the parents meet, where it's got to be, right?
Like
it's the Eagles. It's the Eagles, the Chiefs. If they're going to meet, it's got to happen at this game, does it not? There's no better time.
Maybe they're going to have Sunday dinner.
It could happen, and it'll be real awkward. Do you think that the Kelseys will be more awkward, or the Swifts? Because the Swifts are probably rooting a little more for the Eagles, right? Like, even though, I don't know, because they grew up in Philadelphia.
So there's two mythical creatures here, Kelsey's dad and Taylor Swift's dad. We've seen their moms, never seen the dad, so how awkward are the cuts up to the booth going to be?
Just going to be two guys in hats.
Again, it goes back to, do you want to be Travis Kelce and just following Taylor Swift around? You'll become Travis Kelce's dad. No one will even know who you are anymore.
When his attorneys get him out of the NDA, the book we're going to get out of this is going to be awesome.
Monday night, we'll have it for you on B1043, the point starting at 6 o'clock. Monday Night Football. I'm going to play this again. I want to see Aaron's, he's this football insider expert. So you tell me what you hear from this play.
Jackson takes the snap. Pocket collapsing. He escapes. Runs to the left. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Rashad Bateman. His first of the year, and the Ravens extend their lead.
Are you asking on the name or just?
No, just what? Tell me about that play.
So pressure comes from the right from Lamar Jackson. I think it would have been.
Well, I'm not. You don't need to tell me who it was. Just tell me about the play.
Pressure comes from the right, about 20 yards from the end zone. Lamar Jackson rolls out to his left. He's looking downfield, and he's able to find fourth-year wide receiver Rashad Bateman in the end zone.
He's been in the league for 100 years. You said it. He broke contain. He didn't take off and run. He kept looking downfield. Now, if that's the progression that Lamar Jackson has made in his career, look out.
And that's kind of what I've been.
That's a Patrick Mahomes play right there.
That's kind of what I've been trying to hope to see a little more of whenever I've watched the Ravens this year. And when he's doing that, just because the threat he also does provide with his legs to run, because throughout the game we saw Lamar scramble a couple of times, but he scrambled in smart situations, was kind of avoiding those hits. He did go down with a little bit of an ankle stinger on the sideline, but throughout the whole course of while he was going into the medical tent, it even seemed like he was kind of annoyed having to do it, like he knew it wasn't anything too serious.
What a wild season. What, Bills, Bengals possibly out, and the Ravens have led into the fourth quarter for all year.
And Joe Burrow gets hurt last night. So, by the way, Macon Bacon threw that ball to the security guard, Don Heineman. He has been a 17-year veteran as a security guard on the field there. So,
broke containment.
There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor's agreed to a contract extension through the 29-30 season that includes a salary of $925,000 a year, $250,000 in retention bonuses. After each of the next 4 years, $500,000 at the conclusion of the following three. They looked at Mike Hesher's contract here with Eagle Radio to frame the framework for this.
Do you think he at least whimpers a little bit? What about Bill Self? A little bit of a gap.
Okay. You want to probably better move on here. We'll have more time here at the end of the show today. So there you go. All right. Sports Day rolling on here. The fourth-year backup guy from Kearney State. Just freak, man.
He's from Minnesota.
Okay.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Get started with a career in healthcare through Barton Community College's Pharmacy Technician program. Gain the skills you need to assist pharmacists with the day-to-day demands of a pharmacy. Classes are 100% online and include real-world experiences at a pharmacy near you. Join this essential field in as little as 2 semesters with the flexibility of online classes. Now enrolling. Learn more at farmtech.bartoncccc.edu.
It's another instant finalist day for the Shop at Home for the Holidays $10,000 shopping spree presented by Bauer Computers and Mater Plumbing Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer. Today, the place to be, Rosewood Wine Cellar on the corner of Lakin and Kansas, courtesy of Mater Plumbing Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer. Stop by before 5 and get registered. At the Wine Cellar, you'll find more than 30 varieties of Rosewood wine, all produced at Rosewood Winery. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you select the best wine for your holiday meals, and where else can you sample it before you buy it? Not sure what to get that special someone? Well, let the staff help you gather a variety of items, including unique seasonal items, and bring them together in a beautiful basket. You have until 5 o'clock today to get registered at Rosewood Wine Cellar in downtown Great Bend for the Shop at Home for the Holidays $10,000 shopping spree presented by Bauer Computers and Mater Plumbing Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer.
It's time to talk Barton Cougar basketball with the head coach, Jeremy Combs, on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on KVGB. Head coach Jeremy Combs joins us right now. His Cougars remain unbeaten, ranked 9th in the country. And I know what you guys always say. Well, the rankings don't mean anything.
No.
Oh, come on. It's better to be ranked than not ranked, right?
It is. I mean
that's
there's no question in it, and I like it for the school. I like it for the community and the program and things like that. But for me, I try not to look at that too much. And I mean, it is nice to be recognized, and we've had some big wins, and so the guys are well deserving of it. But it's just a number.
Is that the one you worry about, taking that number 9 ranking or high rankings more seriously than others? Would be your guys sometimes?
Yeah, I don't know if we haven't played well the last 2 games. We're still winning. I know it's people, tell me, hey, you won by 19, and why are you mad? And you just, as a coach, you want to see them execute. You want to see them, play the game right, and do the things that we practice every single day. And we just haven't done that. And I hope that it's not because we're looking at that number 9 and thinking we're really good and we can just show up and win ball games, because eventually that catches up to you. So last 2 practices have been pretty rough, and we've gotten after it pretty good. So hopefully tomorrow we have a little different showing.
74-71, you win at North Platte on Tuesday night. When I texted you or emailed you back, said, man, that's just like a conference road game. That was a good one to get you ready.
Yeah, no, that was a great game. Very, very disciplined team, well coached, Hall of Fame coach up there, has been there for 35 years. They've got a nice little ball club, but then just taking the 4-hour jaunt up there with the guys, and trying to get them locked in. And we learned some things about our guys, and maybe we'll tighten up just kind of what we're doing on the road as well. So it was really good for us, but good enough effort to come out with a win, and we're very pleased with that.
Got a lot of production from your bench in that game. I think over 40 points, if I'm not mistaken, came off the bench in that game.
Yeah. No, I think the comments that I continuously get from from other coaches is, once we get our 2 superstars going or 3 superstars going, we'll be really tough. It's been kind of our freshmen have been leading this team, and they can do a lot of things out there. But once we get those other guys kind of buying in, or not necessarily buying in, but playing better, we'll be really deep and really tough to deal with.
I was talking with Craig Fletchall about, hey, you gotta have those Hoosiers on your team. Those in-state kids that you find close to home, and talk about Miles Thompson's week.
Yeah, he's been an absolute stud. He's doing everything. He does all the dirty work, but he's worked so hard. He's had a great summer. He looks great. He's been in the gym. He's taking care of the things. He's handling the things that he knows that maybe wasn't quite his strong suit, but now he's fixing them. And so he's kind of turning into a complete player, which is showing obviously with his stats, but on the court, and then his leadership's been tremendous.
Man, you need that. That's awesome. You get a guy that's been in the program for a while like that. Okay, what are practices like? I mean, if you got a bench coming up and providing that, it's
tough.
Some good competition.
Yeah, it's interesting because we try to run plays, or we're trying to do this, that, or whatever. Well, we're a pretty darn good defensive team. And so when the plays don't work, you're kind of looking at each other like, is it because we're really good defensively, or is it because we're not executing? So, the practices are, knockdown dragouts. And so, we always talk about practice has to be harder than the games, without a doubt. So they've been pretty tough lately.
I know I ask these questions a lot of times because it's like you guys sit around and say, okay, this is what I want our team to be once we're ready to go into conference play. But it's kind of a general question. But, okay, pre-conference is over with. Have you liked what you've seen so far and you got out of those non-conference games what you wanted to?
I think so. I think we've kind of showed what we're capable of. I think I don't know what the exact stat was, and somebody had sent it to me. I didn't even know, but it was like I think we were beating people by – and these are Division I schools. We were beating 4 Division I schools by 20-some points or something like that, which, I think obviously a lot of that's early basketball, and, we were playing really well and we're defending. So I do like what we're bringing to the table. Obviously, I'd like to clean some things up, but, we're far from where we need to be. And I think, again, the ultimate goal – we're still a little bitter about last year not getting in a national tournament, and I think that's still hanging over our heads a little bit. So I've got to get used to not beating people by 20. I know that sounds weird, but you kind of go into it expecting you want to do that. It's not always going to happen that way, and you got to find ways to win. So those last 2 games for us have been really, really good because, we've had to find a way to win the ball game. So I've got to calm down on that a little bit because I'm still wanting to put my foot on the gas pedal.
That's a good point, though, Jeremy, because you're from the time that, the games really didn't matter anything until you got to January. So now you're starting these games, and it's such a long season. There's always during the season, a fire's going to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, maybe the coach shouldn't be starting fires some. What I mean?
No, there's no question. And we talk about you're always going to have – there's always going to be a bad day. Somebody's going to have a bad day. Team's going to have a bad game, whatever it may be, but you have to figure out how to get through that, put the fire out, and keep moving forward. And so our biggest thing for us is to get through that kind of stuff. We talk about just making sure we work hard, doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, and just taking care of business.
Tell me about this Indy team's coming to town tomorrow night.
It's an interesting team. They lost last night to a junior varsity, which is not real exciting, but they had some guys out, so you don't know what they're bringing. Every game that it seems like they have a new lineup, and so they're playing different guys. This is his first year, so he's kind of going through it a little bit. But they didn't have stats, and so as soon as our last game was over with, I couldn't find stats, so I went through.
Aren't you glad that you've got a good sports information director, so everybody else has the stats?
Yeah. It does make you appreciate it. And I remember all those things. I remember being at the O show and having to put your own stats in and do that kind of stuff. So it is. I am very appreciative of those guys. But yeah, so I went through and statted. I stayed up till 3 the other night statting their games so that I could at least figure out who was scoring the basketball, who was shooting threes, and who was making free throws and things like that. So. Anyway, it's just been an interesting week, but we don't know what's coming this direction, but we just have to prepare ourselves and be ready, to play our game.
Take me through today's practice, okay? It's the day before a conference game. How much do you get into what they do, what we do, and does it matter what part of the season you're in?
Yeah, so they don't do a whole ton. They play a lot of 5-out and do different things like that. They're playing man-to-man. It's not like they're mixing in zones and doing different things. So, today's probably just going to be really focusing on us. Mm-hmm. We're going to get after it probably for 45 minutes to an hour maybe, and then we'll shut it down, start shooting some free throws and doing things like that. I think the guys have cold tubs or ice baths ready to go, because like I said, we've had a pretty rough week of practice, and then we'll just go from there. Tomorrow we'll have a shoot around and be ready to go.
How do you handle the Thanksgiving week?
I don't even know. Yeah,
okay.
Thanksgiving, it's like I haven't had one forever. It's like as a player, you're not.
Neither is your wife, and that's usually good because she knows exactly what to do too.
Yeah. So, we'll get together as a team. We'll eat, but they'll have that day off. We'll come back in the morning after and get after it in practice, and then Friday we'll have So Friday we'll probably do 2 practices and then be ready to go for Saturday again. So,
you gonna be able to come in Friday?
Yeah,
because I think everybody's bailing on me, even though I'm bailing on them the first 3 days of next week.
Just let me know. I'll be around. Not going anywhere.
Same time that you thought it was, not the same time that
you emailed me.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Okay. Taking care of his radio guy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Jeremy, thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend. Jeremy Combs, head coach of the Barton Cougars, here with us on Sports Days, brought to you in part by Eller Automotive Repair. They're a local mechanic that can help behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, and Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Connor Nickel coming up. Talk Sub-State football right after this.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster premium diesel fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
It's Friday, and that means game day in the Golden Belt. To help us prime the pump, Sports Day brings you Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel.
Connor Nickel joins us on a Sub-State Friday here on Sports Day. Connor got Sunflower Sports Solutions off the ground this summer, and here you go. You've got through your first full fall season, almost anyway. How's things gone at Sunflower Sports Solution as you got this rocket launched?
Yeah, it's going really, really well. We're going to be doing a tremendous amount of postseason updates, numbers, a lot of things here in about 2 or 3 weeks. We've got a lot of the 2023 complete volleyball stats that will go up for every team. Of course, that'll be sortable by class and by 8 or 9 categories. Using the same thing for football too. It's just kind of easier to update that all at once. And all that will be archived on there. We've got 3 or 4 years of past history on there too. BP Clean Right's been a great sponsor for us. We've got several other sponsors for basketball that we're very close to bringing on, and we just appreciate everybody a lot.
And, a couple of weeks basketball starts. What can folks expect from Sunflower Sports Solutions as we get into basketball, girls basketball, wrestling, and those winter sports?
Yeah, very, very similar to things. I'll be at the Hayes City Shootout to start the season. A lot of the far-flung teams that maybe I don't get to see will be there, so that'll be really exciting. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. I know one of the pieces that's always drawn interest in the past is the breakout teams, the potential breakout teams for girls basketball and boys basketball. We'll have that up here a couple days after Thanksgiving. We'll also release the players of the year and some all-state teams for this fall as well too. So extremely busy time, but stay tuned for quite a bit coming up.
Okay, and then the other big question is your basketball team still undefeated?
We lost Tuesday.
Oh,
B
no.
team lost to Smith Center by 7, but we're 14-1 now.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry I got the Smith Center people fired up the other day. You did saying you were talking trash on them. You were not. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. You were in Houston last Friday night, and you knew the discussion going in, what kind of game it was going to be is completely different, but what a wild high school football game. Hoisington beat Southeast. They're playing tonight in Norton against the Blue Jays. Just your overall thoughts on that game at Elton Brown Field last Friday between Southeast and the Houston Cardinals.
Yeah, it was a great game. And I really want to point to Hoisington's offensive line first. That line was fantastic. Keaton Hoffman was really good. You know, Hoisington had an injured lineman earlier in the game. They had to have somebody change numbers. That young man came in and played next to Hoffman on the line and did really well. You know, Southeast was just fantastic in creating negative plays. And this season, and Hoisington's line was really good. You know, we saw Tony Moore make several really nice runs. I thought that Mason Alderdice, you know, with his jukes and slipperiness, his ability to make people miss. You know, Taryn Kraft carried the ball 31 times. But I think two plays really stuck out. Is they had a 4th and 1 on Hoisington's side of the field earlier in the game, and Coach Baird, you know, we preach our kids to be aggressive, and they went for it and they got it. There's a big play. And then on the last drive, they threw the completed pass to Ian Smith. You know, Smith has played a variety of roles this season. I think it was maybe 2nd or 3rd catch this year. And what a huge play, you know, to get everybody involved. Then obviously sealing the game, but just a complete effort across the board. I thought the Southeast was exceptional in passing, especially on deep passes and on screens. But Hoisington did enough to always keep the lead and to keep things kind of on their side.
And it was kind of Tony Moore unleashed in that game. He was doing it all.
Yeah, it certainly was, which was something that we thought could definitely occur, that it just was going to be his time. I mean, his time to shine. And, you know, he had several really nice runs. I thought he played about as good as somebody could. They're probably going to need that tonight as well, too. But I thought that Tony was fantastic. And right now, if you look at it, I mean, if you were to handicap the 2A Offensive Player of the Year race right now, there are 2 players, really, who headline that. I mean, maybe Gage Lee from Garden Plain, too, but, you know, he's probably 3rd or 4th. But obviously, you've got the Nemaha Central quarterback, Carter Hayek, who's had an amazing season, and then Tony. It's going to be really interesting these next 2 weeks to see how they turn out. You know, obviously, Sebesta and Norton are much more non-star oriented, especially on the offensive side. And so, I mean, Tony's had just a great season.
Okay, the Norton Blue Jays. They are a team that win every week 20-6, or it seems like it. You know, I mean, that's. I've seen him play once this year. That was against Beloit. You saw him play against TMP. May have seen him play more, but tell me about this Norton team, because if you look at scores, you think, well, okay, they're just squeaking by every week, but here they are playing for the right to play in the 2A state championship game. Tell me about some of the things you really like about this Norton team.
Yeah, and I mentioned this last week. You know, their pass defense has just been incredible. They've only given up 5 touchdown passes all year. They've picked 11 passes. 4 of those touchdown passes that was allowed came against Cimarron in a big blowout win. So if you take out those, you know, it looks even better. They are exceptional at not turning the ball over. Their line play and on defense has been really, really good. And they've had this collective kind of improvement among players. You don't often get this. And you know, last year they had several key guys hurt. Some of the Ponasfield kids were out. Corbin Puga was out earlier this year. But you rarely have teams where A, basically everybody improves, and B, nobody gets hurt. And Norton's kind of had this perfect storm of that happening this season where they just, I mean, as I talked to Coach Melvin a few weeks ago, he goes, basically everybody's improved. And you just don't often have that occur. And then again, they're just so good on the margins, so good in pass defense, so good in keeping their turnovers down. Eli Jones has made a lot of smart plays. Do they have the speed on the edge to defend a quarterback like Moore is really the question mark I have. And I think that Mason Alderdice makes something happen tonight in a really big way.
And, it's kind of the same narrative last week. So, well, what's Hoiston going to do to get around that Southeast defense? Well, what they did is they ran it straight at them. Can they do that against Norton tonight?
Yeah, Norton is that. That line is a lot of wrestler-type bodies, a lot of juniors. I think they certainly can. I mean, if Hoisington's offensive line plays like they did last Friday night, I mean, they may win a state championship.
Yeah.
And so, it's really hard to replicate basically an A-plus performance in back-to-back weeks. But I think that they certainly can. And I did ask Tony and some other kids, I said, you guys were not around for that loss in 2019, but do you remember that? And Tony immediately said, yes, because it ended Wyatt Pedigo's career. And he goes, Wyatt Pedigo is a legend around here. And that loss, we remember what that loss was like. And here we are now as seniors, and we don't want to experience that. I was at that game 4 years ago, and it was an incredible contest. The one thing that, if there's ever been a knock on Hoisington from people around the state, and the same knock you can say for Smith Center and for even Conway Springs and some of that time is, okay, against an elite team, if the running game doesn't work, what's plan B? And the nice thing about this year is that when the running game hasn't worked, well, you have an exceptional quarterback, and you have players who you can pass to. And that game, Norton did a great job stopping the run and stopping Pedigo. I don't think that happens tonight because Hoisington is much more multifaceted than previous years, which is one reason why that they're leading 2A in offense by a really big margin.
And the weather's not going to be slushy and cold and wet, and the field should be in great shape tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You look at that game 4 years ago, they were still on the sidelines. Norton did a really good job with field conditions, but as that game went along and the more it was 0-0, everybody was like, well, this could be the first team that scores wins. And obviously there were only 3 scores in the game, the 2 touchdowns and the field goal. I just don't think that happens tonight. I think that Norton can definitely keep this close, but I've got Hoisington winning 26-14.
I think you're that. I concur with that certainly. The other playoff game in our area, we've got. Our Trading Post listeners love us up in Victoria, and they like Sports Day, too. So the Knights at home tonight, taking on a South Central team that's been a head-scratcher for me all year, but they talk about a team that's improved. South Central's been on a roll. Now they get Victoria, who really hasn't been scratched since that opening week loss to Kinsley. What do you think about this game tonight?
Yeah, I've actually got the Knights as a fairly sizable favorite here. It's really interesting with South Central. They had that run for 4 or 5 years where they were always, 10-1 or 9-2, and they would run into a Canton Galva or they would run into somebody, and they just couldn't make it to a semifinal. And then it's this team. This is the team that's emerged as the semifinal team, the best team in the history of the school. They are doing it with basically one senior skill player. They've got a great young dual threat quarterback. They run the ball a lot. Now, again, the whole season long, Victoria's offensive line is the best in the West in this class. Victoria, just simply put, does not lose games like this. I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and So Coach Oberle hasn't lost very much, period. But when he has lost, it's been because the other team has had more talent. And I don't think that's the case tonight. And even if you look at the last 3 playoff losses, certainly the St. Francis loss in 20, St. Francis was way more talented. 21, Victoria enters banged up. Grainfield had, Jet and Trey Vincent, and obviously Grainfield wins. And then last year, I thought it was a fairly close game, but Thunder Ridge definitely the best player in the field in the Bice kid, at quarterback. That's not the case tonight. I mean, Victoria probably has the best 3 players on the field. And I've got them actually plus 24 tonight to win.
Okay. Connor Nickel with us, Sunflower Sports Solutions. Well, there's another game in the state tonight. It's a rematch in Cheney. Cheney got a pretty good scare from Clay Center last Friday, taking on Andale. Andale had their long winning streak ended at Cheney earlier this year. Here we go, Connor. What do you think? Round number 2.
Yeah, Matt Gilmore and I both agree that we've got Andale getting the win here. Now, I will say this: last week, we were, wrong on Capon losing. They win by 10, very close game, and then Washburn Rural ekes by in 6A. But both of us project Andale to win, and that's no knock against Cheney. I think that Cheney is an exceptional team, but more things have to go right for Cheney to win. Cheney relies so heavily on their 4 stars: the quarterback, the Voth kid, their defensive end, Casey Messenger, and then McDaniel, who's their other running back, and their free safety. Those 4 kids are exceptional. But Andale definitely has the edge in depth, and definitely has the edge, honestly, in special teams. I think it's been 5 games this year where Andale has run the opening kickoff back for a score, including against Cheney.
Yeah.
And I just think, is Andale really going to get up 20 and lose again? I mean, there's certain things in that game, credit Cheney 100%, but how much of those things in that game are sustainable over another game? And that's going to be really interesting to see. But I do favor Andale here slightly.
This is like the ultimate horse game, right, Connor? Okay, now you got to prove it. It's weird to say, too, that Cheney's 11-0. They may be the team that have a chip on their shoulder in this game because no one's expecting them to win it. It's weird.
Yeah, it really is. I think that most of the state probably favors Andale a bit. But it's really interesting. Cheney's never been here. They've never been to a state championship game. But again, their 4 players, their top 4 are really exceptional. And they've had a great season. I mentioned to somebody the other day, these 2 teams probably win 4A West, and they probably are top 5 in 5A West. They just happen to be in the same class.
Connor Nickel with us. Okay, let's jump back to 2A now. The team that will face either Hoyston or Norton next week is going to be decided tonight in Sabetha. Nemaha Central, who pretty much whipped up on Sabetha the first meeting, and that's Sabetha's only loss. Who's going to be standing from the 2A East in Salina next week?
Yeah, the last Big 7 game of all time. Obviously, Holton is still alive, but the last 2 Big 7 teams playing each other. Holton's in 3A, of course. It's going to be a very slugfest type game. I just think NC has got that great line. I mean, Holden Bass is probably a top 11 all classes player. I mean, he's an exceptional lineman. He's going to go to Northwest Missouri State. Probably could have gone FCS. I know Northwest was really high on him a lot. Obviously, Hayek, as we had talked about, their dual threat quarterback. Coach Galatzik does a great job there. Might see this kind of being a lower scoring type of game. Really very similar to the first game, but I just think NC is just too powerful up front.
Okay, anything else? You see any upsets tonight in any of the sub-state matchups we have across the state?
Well, the the Conway Springs Medicine Lodge game, I think, is a really sneaky game. This was a very close game the first time. Medicine Lodge has been the biggest surprise in the state. Kayvon Ruiz has been a great quarterback. Two very different styles. He threw for 370 and then the loss to Conway. I think Conway wins, but I would not be surprised if Medicine Lodge wins. The other team that's crazy that no one's really communicating a whole lot about is Derby.
Yeah.
I think that Derby wins tonight against Rural. That's crazy that Derby's been kind of underlooked and overlooked this whole season, but they've just kept on winning, and beating Manhattan last week now puts them in this chance. The coach's son, the quarterback, is back. Unlike many past Derby teams, there's no ridiculous standout running back. You've got a very good tailback, but it's kind of been a combination of people. So it's been a little bit of maybe a different Derby team, but I feel like Derby wins, and they're going to play for the state championship.
I thought you'd say Wichita County or Linden are going to go down tonight. I didn't know for sure.
That is not going to happen. I talked to some people earlier this week, and that's a matchup I think the whole state wants to see in Newton. I know that there's some thinking. I talked to actually a guy from Linden earlier this week who's been at every game. He has grandsons on the team and so on. And he goes, Connor, I've been around Linden for a long time, and the athletes that we have are amazing. And I said, that's right. That is right. And it's not just Tanner Heckel. And so, the Tigers have never been to a state championship game. It'd be kind of cool. It'd be cool to see them get a win here against a team in Cara-Periville that's very strong. That game was closer than the score showed earlier this year, but I still think the Tigers are several scores better.
I just want to know, can they put triple digits on the scoreboard at Newton for the team score? Or did you
That's a great question. I've been there many, many years. Since it's used for soccer as well. I've not been able, that has not occurred yet. I was there for that all-time scoring game a couple years ago between LR and WC in 2020. Well, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was, 76-62 or something like that. And, that game was when Jaden Garrison did so many great things. That game was really, really impressive to watch.
Well, they probably need it because I think I'm going to go with Linden 110, Wichita County 102.
I could see that. I mean, that game is going to be incredibly high scoring for sure.
Connor, thanks for joining us this week, and keep up the great work at Sunflower Sports Solutions. And we'll get your state championship picks next week, okay?
Awesome, Steve-O. Hey, thanks so much.
Okay, the one and only Connor Nickel doing a great job with Sunflower Sports Solutions. Go to sunflowersportsolutions.com and find out all the content. It's going to be great. You're going to get great wrestling updates throughout the year as well here on Sports Day. And it's brought to you in part by the Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Also by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can. Sports Day, rolling on a Friday right after this.
1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Love your phone but tired of your current provider? Bring your device to Next Tech Wireless and experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansans. For a limited time, get 4 lines with unlimited data for $100. Have questions? Call or text our local customer care team at 877-621-2600. Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmy's make it happen.
Get started with a career in healthcare through Barton Community College's Pharmacy Technician program. Gain the skills you need to assist pharmacists with the day-to-day demands of a pharmacy. Classes are 100% online and include real-world experiences at a pharmacy near you. Join this essential field in as little as 2 semesters with the flexibility of online classes. Now enrolling. Learn more at pharmtech.bartonccc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on a Friday. Don't forget tonight, Hoisington Norton. Wow. 6:30. Can't make it up there on 100.7 Eagle Country tonight. We'll have that ball game for you. Let's see. Sports headlines today. We mentioned K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor agreeing to a contract extension. Well-deserved. He's done a nice job. Now went out and found Jerome Tang. That's not too bad. Michigan's announced that football coach Jim Harbaugh will serve the remainder of a 3-game suspension for the Big Ten in return for the conference ending its investigation into a years-long scheme to steal opponents' play-calling signals. So if you don't snoop around anymore, we'll go ahead and we can do this. Oakland Athletics' move to Las Vegas has been approved by Major League Baseball owners in a 30-0 vote. No real surprise there. And the WWE is collaborating with the Big 12 Conference for their championship game next month as a sports entertainment company further strengthens its relationship with various sports organizations. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Football Championship will be held December 2nd. In Arlington, Texas. As part of the partnership, the game's most outstanding player will receive a custom-made WWE Championship title belt, and a co-branded WWE X Big 12 logo will appear throughout the stadium and on the field.
I'm just excited for the title belt. I saw my first thought when I saw the headline that WWE was partnering with us, the Big 12, was, well, who gets the title belt? And to see that they actually do have one and that the most outstanding player gets it, that's incredible. Imagine like someone like the Big Show giving it to Vince Young back in the day. Like present a championship belt, something like that.
Well, look, if I'm the quarterback and it's late in the game, and, I know that the coach has called this play, but this guy's going to dive in for a touchdown, and that's going to give him 3 touchdowns in the game. If I just let my tight end just float out to the right, I'll fake it to him, dump it out, and then I will have 4 touchdown passes in the game. I could get the MVP and get that big title belt.
A trophy that you may or may not even get to keep might go to the university. Who knows? But a belt, that's going to have some guys craving jonesing for that championship belt.
I'm just saying it's going to lead to some shenanigans. Plus, is this like a diamond-studded belt, or is it just like one you can get? It
sounds like it's a full-fledged WWE belt, like championship style, custom-made for the Big 12 players. So I don't know. Sounds like it could be pretty elaborate with some studs and stones.
Studs and stones. That's all you need. We'll talk to you next week on Sports